TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
Good afternoon, this is Talk Show Diva, and we are reporting live from Douglasville, Georgia. We'd first like to start off with giving a special thank you to our social media director, Shantae Barksdale, and our executive producer, Felix Washington. I'm Abby Castillo, and we're going to let the ladies introduce themselves, and we're going to get on with the show.
Hi, I'm Lady D.
Hi, I'm Roselle Pompey.
And hi, I'm Kamala.
And with that said, we are going to jump into our first topic. Our first topic is going to be about Tamar Braxton. We've been hearing a lot about her in the news, and we just want to discuss some things concerning her. Apparently, she was abusing her boyfriend. These allegations she denies, actually. And however, with her recent suicide attempt, she has made a statement that she's been crying out for help for 11 years while suffering from depression. With that being said, a lot of women, African American especially, are suffering from depression of all kinds, and we don't get the help that we need or the outlet that we need to, be able to heal ourselves. And I think that's where some of the situations coming in with her boyfriend. I don't think she's a violent person at all, but I believe if she's suffering from depression, bipolar disorder, she'll have those type of mood swings where she's up and down, and maybe even violent or aggressive. Does anyone have any opinion about that?
I mean, I believe the same as well. For as being a victim of domestic violence, I mean, you have to know that some type of trauma has existed at one point.
Yes.
And it could either, you to be to a point where you will be able to go past that point and move forward, or it could somehow stagnate you, and keep you in a certain mindset and to where you can't have no room to grow. I just feel that sometimes people mistake people for who they are just because they are somebody like a celebrity.
Yes.
And think that they can't go through some of the same things as a regular woman. She's human and she's a regular woman just like one of us. Yeah. And if we're subject and can have those same disorders and things like that can affect our lives, just as well as it's possible for her as well.
It makes me think of that saying where money doesn't buy happiness. I actually like to believe that it sometimes causes more hurt than it does help, because you have all this spotlight on you all the time, this attention, you're expected to be perfect, you're expected to act a certain way, speak a certain way, and sometimes that's just not you, or sometimes you don't want it to be you at that moment if you're going through something. Yeah. And I think with her being on the talk show with her sisters and her music career, everything in the spotlight concerning her husband just may have been a trigger for her slowly but surely melting down.
But then too, also bipolar starts young as well. It don't necessarily start
because of relationship
with the money and relationship and all that. It can start young as well. And sometimes growing up is hard too, because if you're growing up with wealth and that kind of things going on, bipolar comes in all
forms.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah. In all ages. You got young kids now.
It starts as early as 13, and I've read recent studies believe that in women,
the circumstances,
they believe that it comes with your onset of your menstruation. And so it can start as early as 8, but definitely hitting around teenage years, they say a lot of young girls are experiencing and expressing more bipolar disorder at an alarming rate.
Yeah. So my thoughts on depression, coming from someone who's not in the medical field, but we've all had moments of depression, and like you said earlier, it's triggered from an
Yes.
event that could have happened or you've witnessed.
Right.
And you've carried that on. So my thing is like the community, our community needs to embrace mental health. It's similar like we do with physical illness of the body.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times we suppress it, so it's not addressed. And that's probably maybe no one sat there and say, okay, let's address what's going on with Tamar, because it could have been something, like we're saying, started from childhood, not able to express it or go
Express
to the
herself,
doctor
yes.
to get assistance in dealing with it, and now it's manifesting to the point where it's impacting her actual life.
But a lot of times they feel too, when you're going into depression, that when you talk to people, you're talking to people over and over and over again.
And they're not listening.
And they're not listening to your cry. So by that happening,
Yeah.
it tends to, you're bottling it in more and more and more and
Yes.
more.
Well, you just
Exactly.
rather not express it to people if they're not listening.
You keep it in at that point.
Why express it? And the point of expressing it is to be heard.
Yes.
Or to at least feel like someone is listening, feel like someone cares about what you're going through.
Yeah.
It's not more so, I think people, that's what they always go into a shell, because more so when you go out, you seeking and you really yearn for help, but more so it backfire on you too, as if it's like more so them pointing the finger at you for asking for the help.
Yeah.
But then, but a lot of times when you talk to some people, they tell you their depression
Problem.
instead of
It's
them
their
listening
time to vent
yours.
because
So it's
they need
hard-
help
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's hard to tell yours, and they're gonna tell you about theirs.
I want to touch on something you said when you were speaking about in the community not being able to speak with someone. So I did go over and read some statistics, and these were most recent statistics. And it says, as African American, we are less likely to receive or have access to support in our community. Black women are more likely to seek help from churches than a professional. Black therapists, psychologists, or psychiatrists only make up less than 5% of therapists available to help women of color. Black teens are more likely to attempt suicide than whites. That's at a 9.8% versus a 6.1%. Sexual assault rate among African American women is 3.5 times higher than any other group in the country. 72% of black moms are single, and African American women are more likely to receive backlash from seeking and admitting that we need help, which keeps us from seeking help.
Yeah.
Just like I just said, instead of them receiving the help that they supposed to receive, they more so, like I said, get the finger pointed at them. That
Or
was
they get
backlash.
that, girl, get up and dust it off. Girl, you'll
Right,
be
or
okay.
you'll be
Just go
okay.
on.
Yeah.
What you crying for? Get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't know if I'm going to be okay.
Right.
And knowing that I'm not going to be okay, that's why I'm saying something at this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
That's when people say something, it's to the point that where they want to get it out.
Well,
If they didn't want to get it out, I don't think they would be saying thing at all.
Right.
and our community for generations have been to the point where we've internalized a lot of trauma that we have been
Yes.
through. So we are told you are strong, get over it, dust yourself off, keep it moving, pray about it, go to church. And instead of taking the time out to really assist that person or point them to a professional, which is the preferred way to do it,
right.
and so that they can get help, we need to understand and respect that mental health is
very
critical to physical health. It's
Yes.
important. It's something that I promote, and I think that's a foundation for self-care, you
It
know?
is.
Absolutely.
And we need to know that it's okay to care for ourselves.
It's hard for someone to point you in the right direction when you yourself don't have the answer. And like you said, you may have a female like myself. I can go to Lady D and share with her my story, and she's going to come back with hers because she's going through the same thing. She doesn't know how to help me because she doesn't know how to help herself. So while I'm looking for an outlet, I'm hers.
Right.
And then the cycle just continues and continues on from there because a lot of us don't know what's out there for us.
Yeah.
And a lot of African Americans, I think it said more than 20% of us are without health care
Yes.
that would even cover seeing a therapist, psychologist, or psychiatrist.
Now I agree with that as well.
I
For
don't
as
agree with that. I don't
I'm
agree
saying
with
for
that.
as like the
Yeah.
help, not having the money
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm saying I agree with that, because when I went through my traumatic stress part of when I was in that hit and run, I was seeking help,
Yes.
but you have to make payments each visit.
That's right.
So
And it's
it kind of
expensive.
turns you. It's expensive. It turns you away
Yeah.
for
Some of those visits are
completing and going the
$150.
length that you may need to go to heal.
Yes.
You know, in order to heal, it might take you 2 years. It might take you a year. It may take you even longer. But you're responsible for those payments up front, whether if you were in the wrong or you're the reason why you're there or not, basically.
And
Right.
sometimes you have a job that pays you $25,000, $30,000 a year, and you're not eligible for the insurance that your company would provide, or Medicaid, or something like that. And so when you get to these appointments, you still have to pay just because you have a job, and you may not even be making that much to cover that expense.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But there's some resources out here now that's offering free
Yes.
help. Free help. We just got to look at it and do your homework
Right.
to find it. It's a lot of people because they're taking suicide and all this. They taking
And
it
it's
to higher
serious.
Serious,
situations.
yes.
Right.
That you're even with jobs now, they're offering free. Hey, we got a hotline for you
Yeah.
to call for free mental health.
It's called
Yeah.
EAP,
They have
the
a lot of
Employee
stuff
Assistance
out here,
Program.
but
Yes.
a lot of
I've
times people think
experienced that.
taking a pill. I go to the doctor.
I was
"You're
just
gonna
about
give
to
me
say
a
that you're gonna be
pill."
on medication.
That pill's only slowing you down, but mentally everything's still there.
Yeah.
I don't care how many pills you take or what. That situation, and listen, you get that out of your mind. That
It ain't
situation,
going nowhere.
It does not
Yes.
go anywhere.
No,
You can
exactly.
go from psychiatrist to psychiatrist, to physical to therapy, whatever. It's still gonna be there. It's a mental thing.
Yes.
It is.
And we're not saying
And it's a
for
coping.
anyone.
Yeah,
It's how you
mechanism.
cope with things.
And how you
Right, a
handle
coping
it.
mechanism.
We're not saying to anyone that who is on medication or deciding to take medication
Should
whether
not
it's-
take
should
your
not
medication.
take your
No, we're
medicine.
not.
Yeah.
Please
And we're-
make
yes.
sure you keep
Yeah.
doing your
Take it.
regimen
And we're
and take your
definitely
medication.
we're not judging or looking at your situation as this is less than what it is to you in your life, but we do know and realize that in addition to medication, you should be seeking some type of therapy, counseling, something of the sorts. We just can't leave it up to medication. Whether that
Right.
means counseling with a psychiatrist and counseling with your pastor at church, or even some girlfriends.
A family member.
It's a whole, it's a unit as a whole. It has to be completed together. So we're not knocking anyone taking medication. We're not telling you to not take your medication, but just keep in mind that it's just more than that, is what we want
Yeah.
to say.
And God do help. You remember that movie In the Room? Mm-hmm. Where that lady went in that room and she prayed.
The prayer room.
The war room.
Yeah,
The
was it
war room.
Yeah, that
The
was a
war
good
room.
That was a good movie, how she went in there and she prayed.
Yeah. Her situation
She
is
got-
turned around,
yeah,
honey.
she got in a situation where she went to herself. Sometimes it pays to be by yourself and talk to God. Because God is the key and the answer.
No, he's the source.
He is the key and the answer
Oh,
to
yes, he
all
is.
things.
All
you
things.
just got to pray harder than you
Yeah.
ever
Pray
prayed.
before, exactly.
Because only He gonna heal that mind set on how you gonna live the next day or whatever going
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
But you gotta pray. You take
Yeah.
your medicine, pray, but God first.
Amen.
I wanted to address something that you mentioned
Yes.
earlier about the number of African American women who are psychiatrists or psychologists, how it's a limited space, because sometimes you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody who cannot necessarily relate to you. So how do we address that? Like,
I'm actually familiar with that because I do see a therapist myself. The father of my children, he was murdered in 2017. So it was just a lot to deal with the children, 6 of them, having to tell them, experience their grief, and then experience my own grief, which I was in denial about for almost 2 years. So I see someone, and it's a white woman. And it is kind of hard to relate to her because some of the things I say she doesn't understand, or she just doesn't get where I speak to her from. My upbringing as well plays a lot of the issues that I have when it comes to my mental health.
Right.
So it's not just the grief, but it's childhood things as well. She doesn't understand those things, and it makes it very hard. And I'm constantly looking for an African American woman, a Hispanic woman, because I am Hispanic as well, to talk to, because I feel like they would relate to me more.
No, they would better
and maybe
understand.
not even relate to me, but they wouldn't judge me as much, because I feel like when I say certain things to her, she looks at me like, this is a stereotypical black woman right here.
Right.
Young,
Right.
no children's father, died being murdered, bunch of kids.
Right.
You know, and so it's hard to open up. But I still do, because I know that regardless of what she's thinking, I'm getting it out and into the open, and I can leave it right there in that space. And I still do my praying, and I do myself do take medication.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of things for me to be able to properly care for myself and my children. And that
others
didn't
as
just
well.
happen for
And
me
be
until just
safe.
recently. And I've been struggling with this since 2017.
Right, and it's true. Like, I have a relative, a cousin of mine that lives here in Atlanta, and she is a psychologist.
Yes.
And she does talk about the fact that there's not a lot of representation within that side of the
field.
field.
Yeah.
So it's just it's interesting, and we need to really look at this collectively. As a community,
Yes.
that this is not just happening to Tamar and her family, but it's something that we all suffer from
yes.
it, and we function normally every single
We're
day,
used to it.
not realizing that,
That we are in
It's
that
become
state.
a part of who we are.
And see, now with you going through your situation, now it's not just you by yourself, because you got to be there for your kids as
Yeah.
well, with them losing their father and explaining, you know, and trying to see when they're going through things themselves. Because you never know when sometimes your kids get off to themselves to think about things that happen, because that stays with them.
As well.
Well, we're going to take it to a commercial break, but I would just like to say before we do that you can visit psych.com, that's PSYCH.com, for a free personal assessment for mental health issues that you can use to discuss with your doctor. We'll be right back in a few.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here at one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call Taking My Community Back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap, because we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved. I'm here today at one of our community outreach days with our sound truck. And our sound truck is used for just what you see. We come out to community days, we play loud music, and be able to just have a good time with it and enjoy our community. At a sheriff's office, you get to see us in a little different light. We're not always out there writing tickets or locking people up. We come out to your community day and be a part of your day and help you celebrate your community. And this is just one of the ways that we can do that, was with our sound truck. We're here today at one of our communities. We brought our ice cream truck out. A lot of people like to laugh when I say the sheriff's office owns an ice cream truck, but this is exactly what it's for, is we bring it out to our communities. We give away ice cream. We don't charge for the ice cream. The ice cream is free. And we have partners in our businesses in our community that help pay for the ice cream so that we can give it away for free. And we give it away. We go to schools. This is just one of many events that we bring our ice cream truck to. We go to the school systems. We come out to community days, block parties. We just come out and see you and help you enjoy and celebrate your community. Thank you.
Welcome back to Talk Show Divas, and this is your host, Abby, and we're going to jump right into our second topic. Sadly, and again, we're going to speak about police violence. So let me just give you a little bit of rundown here. We're going to be speaking about a young man, age of 27, Nicholas Chavez. Apparently, he was shot 21 times by police officers. Prior to being shot 21 times, the police discharged 5 cartridges of stun guns and deployed 6 beanbags at Chavez in an attempt to keep him from hurting himself. They state that he was apparently distressed and suicidal. He was apparently holding a metal object. He was already on the ground, visibly bloody, and unable to get up when the 7 officers fired 24 shots, of which 21 penetrated.
Wow.
So here we go. Another young man
Wow.
who's apparently, they see him as being a threat to himself, not even being a threat to them. 7 officers on the ground, already bloody, 5 cartridges of stun gun penetrating his body, and we know that hurts, and that can detain a person and disarm them and get them down.
Right.
6 beanbag shots, and we know those are just as hard. They hit just as hard as bullets. They hurt. They even leave bruises. They hit so bad.
Yeah, they do.
I'm trying to figure out what justified being shot 21 times while laying on the ground in that condition,
You
and
want
I
me to
don't have
start?
an answer for it.
Do you want me to start?
Please.
From my opinion, I feel like I have friends and family members who are in law enforcement, and I want to address, there's trauma there too. They see death. They're constantly under attack. Okay. However, I feel that there are some officers out there who don't see us as humans. They see us as aggressive. I can't even say animals because they treat their animals better than us. So it's a matter of they just don't see us as humans at all. So it's like you overly being aggressive, and pardon me, I just get so worked up about this situation. It's very emotional for me because I have a son, and they're just going too far with this. And we need to figure out a way from within the police department to see how is there a way to de-escalate the situation, because we've seen them do it to other people, right, where they can calm the situation down. But it's always excessive force with us. And people say, oh, he did this, or he should have laid down, he should have not done this.
I don't know anyone
it's
who
the
lets 3
mindset.
people jump on top of them and beat them and don't try to defend themselves. And that's what I see every time I see a young black man on the ground with cops on his back, knees in his neck, and punches being thrown to his face. He's not resisting arrest. He's fighting for his life. And I think people fail to realize that. If you're down on that ground and you got people on top of you, striking you and hitting you, you're going to fight for your life.
It's natural instinct.
It's a natural instinct. That's exactly what I was about to say. Naturally, because my mama told me, don't hit. If somebody hits you, don't hit them until they hit you. But make sure you hit them back so they know not to hit you ever again.
But the thing with that is, it still comes all the way back to government, because they have gotten away with it for so long that they think it's okay.
It's
all
normalized.
right. It's all right to take another person's life. It's all right to kill someone. I mean, they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They got away with it back in slavery. They got away back in it in so many years and decades. It's immune to their system.
Yeah,
I think it's worse
It's
now.
immune to
lifestyle
their
for
system.
them.
It's a lifestyle. It's like a game. You know the dart game or the game
Or that
where
game that when they
where you shoot the dots and
Yes.
all this stuff there after somebody's running. That's how they take in black lives now, like it's a game. It's not a game. It's our lives.
And I
But
think
it's
it's
up to
worse
the
now that Trump is
government to
president.
change stuff. It's up. They say truly enough, we need to vote. We need to get people in office
not
that's going to
forget to
help
vote.
us. Don't forget to vote when it come up.
November the
ma'am.
3rd. And actually, you can go ahead and vote now. You can even go online to votegeorgia.com,
Thank
and you
you.
can order your ballot if you don't want to go and stand in those lines, or you can go and you can call the hotline. You can do either or. You can call by phone. You can even do it online, or you can have it mailed to you.
Yeah.
And my thing is the same way we rioted it when all this stuff happened, we need to ride our behinds to the voting poll and vote.
Yeah.
Well,
We
your
can
voice
get some
will really
people
matter
where our
and count.
voices will be heard.
And you're absolutely 110% correct, because going out and voting, you select the sheriff department,
Yes.
okay?
Yep.
And you also being a part of the community and being involved, and sometimes we need to also be part of the police department as well and make the change
Yes.
internally,
Yes.
because they're desensitized to us, and there is there's got to be a systematic change that
Yes.
happens. And if you look at the fact that they're short-staffed, so they're
Mm-hmm.
hiring people who don't have a lot of education,
Experience on what's really going on.
Their training is super short in a lot
Yes.
of these counties. They're not getting extensive training. So there's a deeper rooted issue other than just it being race.
Yes.
That they don't have the resources to properly train these officers
Yes.
Yeah.
so that they can go out there and do their job properly.
Well,
I agree with you on that, but I don't.
Yeah, go ahead. You go first.
I agree with you on that with the training. There's a lack of it, and that they're pushing the police officers out there because there is a need for more officers. But it's kind of common sense when you step out there, whether you're going to judge an African American person as a threat or not, and there's no training for that. That is something that just resides in your heart.
I was just
if
about to-
it's
that's
in
what I was
there,
gonna
then it's
say.
in there.
That's what I
Because you
was
can do
gonna say.
24-month training, but if a person has a hatred for an African American person and they come up on that scene and they see you and you're moving a certain way or using too much hand movement, they're going to automatically look at you and say the cue card response. He was a threat.
Right.
And necessarily, it's not all about the training as well, like she was saying. If it's in you, like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
from the beginning, whether if
Absolutely.
you go through the training and take back that they don't have the training and they were properly trained,
Right.
they can still have those desires to be, treat us wrong once
Right.
they even get to the other side. Who knows, that might have been the motive from the beginning to be able to have the authority, to
Absolutely.
push
Definitely,
the
I
issue.
believe it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So-
there's good cops and there's bad cops.
Yeah.
Right.
But unfortunately, the bad cops are being highlighted right now because they are actually killing people and they don't care anymore.
The only reason why they're getting highlighted is because people have started using their phones.
Exactly.
And
I'm
started
thankful for
videoing things and started, instead of keeping things on the hush, like for years, I was
Yeah.
saying that the other day, people are so used to sweeping things under the rug, wrongdoing,
Yeah.
people, generations after generations, it uncursed the families because people been quiet about certain things. Once you're born into something, and if something happened, I feel that you should tell the children that's growing up into the same family so they can, one, beware,
Amen.
for two, have the knowledge so they can also, two, be in the presence of their own safety. Because how can
Yeah.
they be safe or know what to deal with if they don't know?
Right.
I think we fail to also realize with us talking about mental health, and I've seen some of these videos of these officers, excuse me, attacking these young black men and women.
Right.
And some of them just seem like they are not just overworked, but mentally overwhelmed. I've
Yes.
seen officers in action, the way they're speaking, carrying themselves, and the aggression that they have is letting me know that there's something more mentally going on there as well.
That's
that
true.
coupled with the possibility of an officer being racist, it doesn't make for a good story when it comes to one of our family members or our friends or just anyone in our community.
Right.
Put that in mind, like the little young black girl that was at the pool party one year. It's been a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I remember she was the
at
only
pool
one,
party.
and she ended
This
up dead.
officer pulled up. No, this was another incident where the officer pulled up, slung her on the ground like she was a grown man.
I think I remember this.
She was
story.
a young girl at a pool party. They wasn't supposed to be at this pool party, so everybody was leaving and running. He grabbed her, threw her on the ground, literally holding her down. And it didn't make any sense how they do when they hold people down.
They've been doing us like that since
Yeah.
slavery. They've been ripping
Yeah.
the babies straight from the mother's breast. They've been taking husbands straight out of the home in the middle of the night, taking wives straight from the cooking pot into the comfort room, for the next master to come and throw themselves on top of her. They've been treating us like this for far too long. And I hate to say it, 9/11 was just the other day, and I've seen a lot of stuff on Instagram where people are saying never forget when it comes to 9/11. And I know that there are a lot of people who lost their lives, and I'm sympathetic to that. But I also know that when it comes to us and our movement of Black Lives Matter, and never forget the people who are being killed, like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, no one wants to hear that. But we're all up in arms for red, white, and blue when it comes to something like 9/11. And, it's sad that it's like that, but the truth of the matter is that racism is real. It exists. It's not a secret anymore, so we don't have to worry about it being hidden. And I think it's worse now that Trump is president. So in addition
And it's
to
worse
voting,
too now that it's out. Because
you don't have to hide it anymore.
Right, because one thing about something when it comes to secrets, like that's the good part when you don't know.
Right.
So you can pretty much hide it. But once it's out, then it's
Yeah.
pretty much vulnerable, and it also like create its own little world, like its own little cult.
I like my races up front and in my
Now,
face.
that's
I don't like
still
you hiding
like-
behind my back, giggling in my face, and
Yeah.
calling me something behind my back. If that's what you are, you prefer to be, and if you feel so strongly about it, then live it in your truth and speak it out loud. So we know that you're one of them.
And see, that's just like Donald Trump. You knew about COVID, but you didn't tell nobody. You kept it a secret, saying you protecting us, but the majority of the people that have
Yeah.
died of COVID is who? African Americans. African Americans are the ones that died, and you kept it a secret.
That is very interesting.
Yes.
But I wanted to address something in regards to police violence to the brown and black communities.
Yes.
It is now becoming a global issue.
Yes.
So earlier this year, we saw a lot of protests that has happened. This is unprecedented, where collectively around the globe, people were protesting
Everywhere.
everywhere.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
In regards to Black Lives Matter. It's no longer a stigma that we're going to offend someone because
Yeah.
we're saying this. I mean, if you're mentally ill and you are a threat to yourself, why would you feel that it's necessary to shoot someone at all?
Right.
I mean, if a wild animal came to, don't they do a tranquilizer
Yes.
to calm them down?
Yes, they do.
I mean,
They don't want
there
to kill
is,
those animals, honey. They love them.
so, I mean, I think it's becoming more, people are becoming more conscious and more aware
Yeah.
that this is inhumane and it's not right. And now that the cover has been ripped over this secret, right? We're no longer hiding it.
Yeah.
They still want to do it because Clayton County, they did it the other day, where they were overly aggressive with another black man.
I saw that too. I saw that
So
incident.
it's almost as if
I'm
they're
just tired of
baiting
it.
like a race war.
But that's the thing. But that's why, they even went to the point of tearing things down, messing up businesses
Right,
and costing
because
the
we got to
city
get your
money.
attention some way.
They're costing the city money and just trying to go to the extent of trying to be heard, trying to be seen.
Yeah.
Try to say, okay, enough is enough. Okay, why shoot to kill? Why shoot to kill? Because you can also shoot somebody and not kill them.
Right. That's true.
If you you can
Absolutely.
also shoot them without killing them.
Yeah,
so
but you can shoot them in the leg. You can shoot
Anywhere.
them anywhere
That's
to bring them down
And
versus
that's the
taking their
training
lives.
that
That's the
comes with it.
training,
Yeah.
exactly.
You got to have
So, when it comes to not caring anymore, what us as a community and us as being black and want to matter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the thing too. You have to want to matter. Because the ones that's doing the unnecessary things and for as tearing the community down,
Yeah.
for as the black community, I believe that's why some of the other cultures treat us that way. You are what you are around. And if you are around people that's not treating you right, then that's how you'll be treated. If you leave, then you hold the control, basically.
Yes.
Right.
And then you have to want it. It's not going to be just given to you. Back in the days we had our own money, our own economy. Where we were having our mindset to have our own communities and
Yes.
our own stores and our own businesses and only doing business to business with our own people and things like that. But sometimes we forget about that the things that they have or the things how they have progressed in their necessities of getting things that we have those same capabilities.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we have to go to break. With that being said, we'll be back in a few minutes and we'll be on to our next topic. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in so far.
Hi, I'm Chief Gary Sparks with the Douglasville Police Department. Today we want to give you some safety tips concerning traffic stops. Take a look.
So you look in your rear view mirror and see flashing blue lights. What do? Remain calm. yield to the right, and pull your vehicle over into an off-road area that is safe for both you and the officer. Put your car in park. Remove your foot from the brake and turn the radio off. Remain in your vehicle. Have your driver's license readily available for the officer. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, visible for the officer at all times. If you need to retrieve any items from the interior, explain what you're reaching for to the officer and avoid any sudden movements. Rolling the window down completely establishes a level of trust with the officer and allows for ease of interaction during the routine traffic stop. Be courteous and polite. Be cooperative and willing to follow the officer's instructions. During a routine traffic stop, the officer will return to his vehicle to run the tag and driver's license verification and complete a citation if one is necessary. Once the officer returns and approaches your vehicle, whether or not a citation or warning is issued, please remain calm, courteous, and cooperative. Sign the citation acknowledging you agree to appear in court, and do not dispute the citation with the officer. The officer will give you a court date to explain or defend your infraction.
Okay, ma'am. Like I told you, I did clock you at 51 in a 35 mile per hour speed zone. I did issue a citation, okay? This here is going to be your court date. I just need a signature from you stating that you received a copy of this citation, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Here's your driver license.
Thank you.
Along with a copy of the citation, okay? You have any questions or concerns for me?
No, sir.
Okay, well, you have a nice day, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
too.
you.
Following these few simple steps will help ensure a safe interaction for both you and the officer.
I hope these few tips help you as it relates to dealing with law enforcement and traffic stops. Not only in traffic stops, but in all encounters with law enforcement. We hope that all our encounters are safe for the citizens as well as for our officers. Again, we want you to be safe, and if you have any problems with the Douglasville Police Department, don't hesitate to give us a call and make your concerns known. I would add that Georgia is a right to carry state, and we hope that if you are carrying, that on these traffic stops and all encounters, please let the officer know that you are carrying. This will ensure your safety and our officers' safety. Thank you, may God bless you, and may God keep our community safe. We are one.
Welcome back. You are watching Talk Show Divas. We are live streaming from Douglasville, Georgia. We would like to give a special thank you once again to our social media director, Shantae Barksdale, and our executive producer, Felix Washington. So our third topic is going to be about COVID. COVID, all things COVID, because that's the only thing we've been hearing about in 2020. It's COVID, okay? The COVID-20. So let me just discuss with you guys a little bit about this vaccine. So there's a COVID vaccine being created that scientists say may only be about 50% effective, meaning that if you vaccinate 100 people, only 50 people will remain immune to the disease. Scientists are hoping that at least the other 50 people to receive the vaccine, that the severity of the disease isn't as bad, so that we can have less trips to the hospital and less deaths. Keeping in mind that in order for these scenarios to work, a large number of the population has to get vaccinated. So the question is, do you get vaccinated or do you not? Myself, I do not. I don't get the flu shot, I don't get any shots, and I do not vaccinate my children. My children have been the healthiest since they have not been vaccinated.
And I agree.
Every time I vaccinated one of my older children, they were always sick afterwards for a very long period of times. At one point, one of my children began stuttering after receiving a vaccine. He never stuttered before. So I stopped with the vaccines years ago. I do not vaccinate. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't. That's my personal opinion. What's yours?
Well, I agree, and I'm in the healthcare field, so pretty much I know what vaccination does. What it does, it puts it inside of you. You know, so that's vaccination. You know, because when working inside of the hospitals, you have to have hepatitis A, B, C, and all these type of vaccinations, PPD, and you know. But even with that being said, I too, to the minimum, do not like to be vaccinated only when it's mandatory. And flu shot is not mandatory to work.
It's not.
You know, so, you know, those type of vaccinations I don't receive. But when it comes to COVID, N-O. Never.
Never ever.
Never ever.
Never ever?
Ever, ever.
Right. But you know, they actually got people out here getting COVID just to be one of the people that try for the vaccine.
They call guinea pigs, the ones.
Yeah, they are. That's what people out there doing. Now me, no.
Oh, they doing the research and they doing it for money too.
Giving money away.
So
yeah, they're
I'm
doing
a
it for money.
phlebotomist. I'm a phlebotomist, and so what I was doing, I was working at a donation center where we were purposely looking for people who had COVID antibodies, Hep B antibodies, and RSV, so that we can pay them a pretty large amount of money. Some of these people were leaving with $115 a visit to be able to donate their blood so that we can use the plasma to create a vaccine. And some of the people who didn't have like their Hep B series, our company would give them the series so that they can develop the antibodies. I was totally against it. When I started working there, they wanted me to get the Hep B shot, and I was like, I think I had those when I was a kid. They were like, well, you got to get it again. I said, or I can go to the office and get my blood drawn, and you can see if I had the antibodies that would prevent me from getting it again. And thankfully, I had the antibodies, and I didn't have to get the shot.
Right.
But they are paying people for that, and they're paying them lovely too.
Well, right now they have a lot of studies going. So what we have to remember, even when it comes to COVID, we have to remember back in the days when they did the Tuskegee study. And that is no difference than what's going on now, and know that. It's the same thing. They use the poor. They use the minority, which is us, the black people. They use the Hispanics. Those were the ones that didn't have health insurance, stuff like that. They used them even then as guinea pigs for a study for I think it was syphilis. You know, so
then you got AIDS and all that.
But I'm saying before all this stuff started coming out, and that's how they even come up with treatments and things of that nature. They have to try it out. But know this, they try it on animals first before they even start with humans. So that's no difference than, like you say, the flu shot. And them trying to vaccinate us every single year.
They're paying people. This was the first year that I've ever seen in Georgia that they are paying people to get the flu shot. You can go to the grocery store.
You can get them
and they're
free
going to
now.
walk-in clinic, and they're paying you.
But they're paying you
$10
because people don't want
to get the flu shot.
Because people have been refusing to take the flu shot.
But I did the flu shot. I was fine up until I did the flu shot, and when I did it, man, I was sick as I don't know what.
Because see,
I was
when
sicker.
you go all the way back to science.
Yeah.
You go all the way back to science. The body tells you that you have to put something in for the body to notify what it is in order for it to fight it off.
So they give you an inactive part of the virus, a cell that they say is dead, but we don't really know if that's possible or not. But what we do know is that they are injecting you with an actual form.
But then we got different body types. Some people can handle it. Some people can. It doesn't affect them, and some people it does. I think it affects older people.
But that's the study. But that's the study.
Yeah.
And they don't know that until they inject people with it.
Yeah.
You know, how do they know if it worked with these people and this age rank and this group of people and this kind of, just like with the Tuskegee study, just what I'm saying, they have to break it up in different categories, and they have to use people in order to do so. When they come up with new supplements, which is pills, right? They start off testing the actual liquid form of the pill with the rats and things of that nature, hamsters and stuff like that. They
like Netta Professor.
Right. They phase first, and then they move on to the humans. Then after they move on to the humans, then once they get their studies and
out there,
but it
always seems like it gets approved to get out there, even if the studies aren't really all that accurate, or if the studies show that it's maybe not working as well as it should. Because like the scientists say, It's only 50% effective. They're trying to get it to be at least 60%. So we know that there's a possibility that it may do something, but if you're giving it to 100 people and only 50 won't catch it,
But
you don't know for sure that they won't catch it, but we're hoping that they don't catch it. That other 50, if they do catch it, it doesn't really necessarily mean that their symptoms are going to be as,
Worse,
severe
or
as
bad.
before.
But let Donald Trump
don't
tell it.
want
They
to
already
know.
got the. They
Well, let
already
Donald
got.
Trump tell us we need to be drinking bleach. Warm by the cupful, about every 3 times a day. You know what? Come on, now. Take a bath in it, put it in your water.
So what you think?
Oh, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it for my kids. My grandmother, she didn't give us the flu shot after so many people were having different reactions to it. I think that, I'm not sure what year it was, but someone had received it, was on the news, she was walking backwards.
The
We had
swine
never,
flu. Now, that was my last flu shot because I had a bad experience with that.
Yeah, we
That's
never-
what you're talking about.
I haven't. My oldest will be 8 in November, and he's probably the only one who's received the flu shot once.
Yeah.
But I don't make them get that. I'm not gonna give them the COVID. I don't know what's being put into it. Y'all have 18 months to come up with a shot, and y'all are rushing to do so because people are
that's the part
dying.
that
So divas.
I'm not be willing to put that into my body.
So divas. Yes. Because you know I be on my diva-ish. And so, what if they make it mandatory? What you gonna do?
Oh, I'm
Well, I guess I'm gonna be staying home.
No.
To take the shot?
To take the COVID shot
They
or
haven't
go to
discussed
jail.
that
What
there's a
happens?
possibility of it being mandatory.
Well, are you gonna lock everyone up?
They have a possibility of making it mandatory, and you have to either take the vaccination or
if it
be
came
arrested.
down to
about
me
them-
having to leave my children
Then I
and
would
leaving
take
them in
the
a care with
shot.
someone
You
else,
taking the
I
shot,
would
Miss
take
D?
the shot.
Lady D said she taking the shot.
And I would be washing the bleach.
I'm not going to jail. I'm taking the
Baby, lock me up and throw
Stand behind me and say they not gonna take it because y'all gonna be able to lock everybody up.
take the shot and go home and drink the bleach.
No, they're not way. To get rid of this, but I'm gonna take that shot before I go to jail.
But it's
I
sad
guess
that they
we
would
all
do
gonna
that.
have to go to
And talking of mandatory, it's a lot of the schools are. They make it very hard for you to not immunize your children. Because my children were receiving vaccines when they were little. I never had to experience what a school would be like, me letting them know that they're no longer going to receive the shots. And they put you through a lot. A fire hoop. They make you jump right through it.
So what
They
age?
want you to get forms. They want you to sign documents, get them notarized if it's
Yeah.
for religious purposes. And just because you don't want to immunize your own child.
Yes, and
so it's
I do
hard.
it, and I've been doing it every year for my children
I
since
sure
they've
do
been in the
too.
school
So it's a
system.
possibility, is what you're saying, to
Well, they
send
are-
your kids to school without having any form of
Vaccination.
Yes,
Yes,
there's
but you
certain
have to-
forms
you-
that you have to fill out and you have to get them notarized. And on some occasions, I've experienced this one time, but it wasn't with myself personally. It was another woman. They even did some type of a telephone interview with her, and they asked her a series of questions based on her religion. Why she didn't give the shots, what was her religion, what did she believe in, and she had to answer the questions. And I was, kind of surprised that they did that. But then there's this website out there that lets you know how to go through the steps. They give you the answers to say. They let you know the questions that are going to be asked, and they kind of prepare you for that phone call if and when it does happen. We have to go to break. I'm so sorry. We're going to discuss this later on. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Michael Cowell, your funniest man on the planet, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network. Stay tuned, because that's how they do it over here. Big time party! All right, see y'all later. Bye.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom, Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom, Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives.
Welcome to Burke's Jewelry. How may I help you?
We're looking for engagement rings.
We offer a wide selection. However, I believe we have just what you're looking for. Burke's Jeweler is your family's jeweler at 491 Flat Shoals Avenue Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30316 in East Atlanta Village.
Welcome back to Talk Show Divas. We are streaming live from Douglasville, and we are having a grand old time, so thank you to everyone who came and chimed in on our discussions.
Yes.
This is our last topic that we will be speaking about. It's very prevalent in the news right now, so you probably heard of it. If not, we're going to fill you in. The conversation that we are about to have is about Miss Sweetie Pies and her son, Tim, and a murder for hire.
What?
Murder for hire.
Yes.
You said son.
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 Okay.
Son.
Let's start the conversation. Miss Lady D has a lot of facts on that, and she's going to break them down to us right now.
All right, I'm going to give you a little facts on Sweetie Pies. Sweetie Pies is owned and operated by Miss Robbie. Miss Robbie was a backup singer for Tina Turner. She was an Ikeette. So when Miss Robbie decided to leave Tina Turner and the Ikeette, she decided to open up a soul food restaurant. By the way, I've been there, and it's very good. Very good food, y'all. Very good food. Well, anyway, Miss Robbie, well-known soul food cook, she got special from Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey opened up a TV show for her. I'm just stuttering. Opened up a TV show for her, which was called Sweetie Pies. And in Sweetie Pies, it was Miss Robbie, her sisters, her son, Tim.
Tim, yes.
She also had a nephew that was there as well. Well, anyway, by opening up the restaurant, Tim had just got out of jail. Tim had been in jail for 10 years for armed robbery. But
The son.
Yeah.
All right,
But he turned his life around now. He turned his life around. He got out. He started operating and managing Sweetie Pies for his mom.
All right, Tim.
Come to find out, Tim was doing more than managing.
Okay.
He was putting his hand in the cookie jar as well.
What?
So he was taking money. He was opening up businesses in her name. He went to Memphis to try to open up one. She didn't know anything about it. If you follow the episodes of Sweetie Pies, you'll see a lot of the things that was going on with Sweetie Pies. He also went to Los Angeles and opened up another Sweetie Pies. Okay, Miss Robbie had got so confused about everything that was happening because she didn't know it. Her lawyer would come back and tell her, well, did you know this or did you know that?
Right.
Was being opened in your name. Okay, so after that, Miss Robbie ended up suing her own son.
I'm one of those
As she
mothers.
should.
Okay, yes, because
She ended
baby,
up
let me
suing
tell
him.
Don't
you.
you bite the hand that
Feed you, okay?
Yeah, she ended up
Because
suing
you
him
know
for me.
that, a mother
Yeah.
like that, where he came back after he done did how many years in prison?
10 years.
All right then, so a mother like
10
that,
years.
don't you bite her hand.
Yeah, and the thing about it, he was the only son. Miss Robbie's husband died. Her son also died. She had a son that died. Both of them died on the same strip of each other in St. Louis, Missouri. After that, Miss Robbie sent for her son's son.
So her
The
grandchild.
one, the deceased son, her grandson.
Yes.
And bring him to St. Louis because he was getting in a lot of trouble where he was living at. Andre, his name was Andre. Andre came to St. Louis, changed his life.
Amen.
Ended up graduating.
All right.
Ended up trying to be a rapper.
All right, Andre.
Worked for her restaurant, was doing a lot of things where I think Tim, with that greed and everything, got a little jealous of her relationship with her own grandson.
Now, Tim, let me tell you about Tim. Tim finna find himself on Greed. You know that is another TV show.
Yeah.
Tim finna go from talk show divas to Greed.
And the thing about Tim ended up hiring a stripper in Memphis. Bought one of the, what you call those phones, the little fake phones where you can't
throwaway.
trace. Throwaway that you can't trace. Yeah.
Right.
Hired a stripper to help him hire someone to kill his own
nephew.
You listen to me? His own nephew.
His brother's child who was deceased. He should have been the father figure to his nephew.
But listen, let me tell you something. When it comes to greed, and money,
his brother's son.
Because the money, now the Bible says that's the root to all evil. So Tim was on the point to where he was thinking to himself like, hey, he had to cross anybody by any means.
And the thing about it, he lured his nephew.
Can we just say that his nephew was only 18 years old? His nephew was a child.
Do you think money have an age?
No, it definitely doesn't. But the fact that he did this to a child Wow. It just makes me. What is your opinion? Do you have an opinion on this? I know
Well,
you didn't
I'm
tell.
just shocked to hear everything that she was saying. When I looked it up on my phone, it didn't explain all of what she just said. It only spoke on the TV show. So I'm kind of shocked that, money allows people to get to that point.
Yes.
How could you try to take out someone who is your family?
That should be like your child. Now that your brother is
You
gone.
should be there for him. Lifting
Yeah.
him up, helping him do something beneficial, helping him grow. Like, why would you take? I mean, you had the opportunity because of your mom.
Like
Yeah.
they said, it was greed, and for you to take out 3 insurance policies on your own nephew.
This was premeditated.
Yeah, premeditated
very much
on your
so
own nephew.
premeditated.
3.
What?
3.
Did I hear that right? Life insurance
Yeah,
policy down left and right, just in case one don't go through. We got the 2 backups.
He was
But it's
murdered.
not funny, but
3.
3 life insurance policies.
Now that man is insane.
3 life.
3 life insurance. And the thing about it is,
that man is insane because let me tell you
Yeah, he's
something.
greedy.
That man was not gonna die 3 times. Now you wrong for that.
My
Now
sister is crazy.
you don't sit right here.
Right.
3 life insurance policies.
And you
on
know
one
you can do that. You don't
person.
have to have one life insurance policy. But with this situation, it's so heartbreaking to hear because I have sisters and I have brothers, and God forbid something happened to them and they leave behind children. I'm never going to look at my niece or my nephew in a greed type of way to take from them something that I should be sharing with them.
Yes.
So I'm disgusted by that.
Yes, it
fact.
should be an automatic
he didn't do
connection
that with his
saying that
nephew.
I don't have to worry about those things because
'Cause
I'm
there's
already
enough for everybody.
connected.
There's
But I'm
clearly
already
enough for everybody.
Even if it's not enough for everybody,
Yeah.
I'm already connected to the source.
but your nephew didn't cause your debt. You
Yeah.
caused your own debt being
Yeah.
greedy. If you wasn't greedy, you wouldn't have caused your debt. And the thing about, the sad part about it, you took your brother's son
And killed him, had him killed.
and had him killed over money.
That
Over
you don't
money.
even get to spend.
So, Lady D, my question is, what happened? What would be the end of this story when it comes to now that the boy has been murdered?
Yeah.
And so, what happened? He
And
was
he was
arrested.
looking at jail
But you know
time,
what?
yes.
He was arrested. It's 2 parts to this.
Let's
First
go.
of all, you didn't even get the money because the insurance policy was wrong. It was wrong.
all 3 of them?
All the information you put on the insurance policy did not match your nephew. So all the information was wrong.
Now, baby, that's why when you do something and you think you're doing
do
something,
dirt, you get dirt.
not even that, baby. Do your homework.
Do your homework.
Do your homework.
Oh,
Okay?
Lord.
That's called not doing your homework and not thinking it all the way through because the only thing you was thinking about was the greed and the money.
Well, that goes to show you that he didn't have a relationship enough with his own nephew to really know anything factual about his nephew because they don't ask you crazy, questions like what high school you grew up in. They ask you questions that are
That you
common
should
sense,
know.
that you should know about your relatives.
Yeah.
You should know as an uncle.
This should be father figure.
Right, you should know as an
Right.
uncle. But what's sad is, like, for all
Yeah.
through this whole story, is that the woman,
She's technically lost
the
her
mother,
family. She lost her.
Yeah,
her
and
nephew,
everybody
her
is
grandson, her
focusing on the grandmother, and
Yeah.
there's a mother out there as well. There's a brother out there as well.
exactly.
So you got to focus on all that. And the thing about Tim is he was so greedy. Your mom 85, and I hate to say that she's 85. You're the only living biological relative to her. So by her business being over $1 million,
Yeah.
that's all yours. That's all yours.
Well, it was all yours.
Right.
And that's
So
from
now, who does
hashtag
that-
Kamala, was.
And the
Other
thing about it
relatives,
is, you got a
who's up next in
son.
line for that.
Tim has a son. How do you explain that to your son? How do your son look at his friends? My father had would it be his uncle?
His
cousin.
Had my cousin
murdered.
You know what? I
for
think he
money.
probably would have even done it to his son if there was a possibility that his son would have been
And
getting.
there was
money.
rumors out there he had $1 million over his mom as well.
Exactly. So let me tell you. See,
My
once-
kids ain't getting no life insurance policy over me. I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna hold on to it. 'Cause I
Well,
don't believe
well,
all that.
who's to say that? Because I don't think them people knew that them policies was there.
Right.
Did they sign them? First of all, who?
He's sneaky. He done been to jail for
Let me
10
ask
years.
this
He knows
question.
how to
Are
forge
y'all people out
documents.
there with these insurance policy holders? Is it possible that anybody can just sign a insurance policy
It all
for
depends.
you?
If you
so that
have
mean
a
I
low
can get a
budget
policy for
insurance,
all the deeds on here on the show
If you
right
got
now.
the information,
Yeah,
you
if you
sure
got the
can.
information, you can.
Really? You have some of these
Usually
low budget
birthday
insurance
to go to
policies?
you.
As long as you're paying.
Mm-hmm.
No, it shouldn't be that way though. You know why? Because that make it too easy. For even like with this situation
But you have
with
some of those
someone
low
that
budget
may
places
be
that don't mind it.
But we
that
talking
will
about
let you come in and do
greed,
it.
Greed.
Yeah.
If all it take is what? Listen to this.
Like
if all it
Esau
take
trying
is-
to get that birthright.
Yes, like Esau. Because if all it take is like a couple of dollars a
Right.
month for a policy, and you get a policy for $1 million or half $500,000 or whatever. I would take the policy too.
At one point,
But
don't
it
even
don't-
tell people that you have life insurance policy.
Yeah, don't let anybody
And
know
that
what you
again,
got.
and then I think by law it should be against the law. Now this is what I'm going to throw out there to y'all people with those businesses. It should be against the law for others to have insurance policies in your name without your knowledge.
Yeah.
It should be some kind of letter sent to the person saying, "Hey, this insurance policy has been taken out on
Yes.
you," so they would know by who and when.
Well, how
you
will
know?
they get that person's information to do that? What I will say is, now that you said that, just recently, maybe in like the last 7 or 8 years, they now only allow you to get a certain amount of life insurance policies for a child of a certain age, due to the fact that a lot of parents, well, not a lot, but some parents were getting life insurance policy on their children and then murdering their children for the life insurance policy.
Yeah,
so
they
they make
were
it
doing
impossible
that,
for you to get 100,000 life insurance policy if you have like a 12-year-old. They don't need that much. I think the maximum is 25,000, 30,000, depending on who you go to, that you're allowed to take out on a child, because people are so desperate for money that they're willing to do anything. And it goes to show that Tim was desperate for money. He really didn't even have a need to be desperate.
businessman.
But he was still
It boils
desperate.
down.
He was a bad businessman because
you had other businesses. You had other businesses
with too much already.
And you in debt, and you got other businesses. And Sweetie Pies is a known brand soul food restaurant.
Well, she had blessed him enough already.
Exactly. He needed
and
nothing.
he abused his privileges of his mother heart.
And I honestly think that as
Of
a
his
mother,
mother
our
heart.
children do things that they have no business, and we always try to back them, even if sometimes we want them to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
I believe that any situation
And I think
he
we're
may have
supposed to
gotten
do that.
into, yeah, if he went to his mother, I believe she would have helped him. She may have shown him some tough love in the
No,
process.
his mother
but I think
fired
she would
him.
have helped him.
She
but if
fired
he came
him.
to her and said, "I'm going to die, and I need this," a mother is going to do what a mother has to
After
do.
you do so much, a mother can only take so much. After a mother has helped you, I'll help you through 10 years of prison.
Ooh,
I have
Lord.
sent money to you. I have done this. I have did all I can do. At one
Yeah.
point in time, a mother got to let him be a man.
Yeah.
You can't
You're
keep,
right.
you can't keep covering up for your son. That's when they get weak.
Yeah.
That's when they don't want to do what they're supposed to do.
As
That's
a
when
man.
they don't want to
You're
do
right.
responsibilities.
That's why as a
they
man.
do so much, because we mother them. You cannot mother them till they get 100.
Right. But do you think that the debt that he was in was something that his life could have been taken for?
I don't think so.
Well, if so, he caused it.
Right. Well, you're right about
I
that.
don't think
If so, but even so, if the life is a gamble. If he chose to take that direction after
Yes.
getting out of prison for 10 years,
Yeah.
after his mama done blessed him, after he done got a business, after he done got multiple businesses.
Multiple business, yes.
Okay. So
And you
he
got
did
put on the
bring one
map
bad habit.
by Oprah Winfrey.
What? So he leveled up really
So,
nice.
I mean,
Lord,
you
he
should have
just messed
ran
it
with
all
that.
up.
Now,
Now
Oprah,
he
give
in
me
jail.
something.
Oprah, talk show divas
I
is
get a car,
looking
you get a
at
car.
you.
Let me get something. I'm gone.
And now
I'm
he has to
gone.
spend the rest of his life, however long they give him, in jail, because he has taken not just a life, but an innocent life. And again, to me, the fact that it was his nephew, who he should have been more of a father figure like, it's like he took his own child's life, and it's sad. He should be.
And it's still
I don't know what they're
going
gonna give him, but I know he deserves
It's
it.
still a third part, because they have not yet found the killer. They have not found the killer. But
He's
haven't
probably
found the
gonna
killer
get
of the
And-
nephew?
Yeah,
they
because he didn't do
they
it himself.
actually
He
did
hired
trigger.
someone to do it.
But in my heart, he was there, and I just got that feeling that
Oh, Lord, no.
that
how did
Tim
they
gonna be the one.
conclude
I don't
that
know
he hired
why, but I just got that feeling.
Okay,
I
so
may be wrong.
on that note, how did they connect him to the murder?
Yeah.
You know, you cannot do stuff
If you do
with
it with
multiple
somebody,
people, because
you just
somebody
gotta go
always
along.
gonna get caught. Somebody always gonna tell. They're not gonna take the rap themselves.
It's not a secret once you
Because
leave
the
your
guy
mouth.
that wrote the insurance policy, that's just a part-time thing. He's
Yeah.
supposed to be a record producer in that nature, that he was a record producer for Nelly.
So stay right
So
there.
then he can't, okay.
So stay right there. because people are doing anything for money
Yeah, they
these
are.
days. So all them had hands in on that then.
So guess what? How much the girl?
But that
the
doesn't mean they have
stripper-
anything to do with the actual murder. Now, he may get charged for forging some life insurance policy.
No, what I'm saying
but
is, I'm talking
that
about for
doesn't mean-
as the plan on getting the money.
Right.
But they're going
This-
to tell. They're not going to take all the rap and let Tim
plan on
get away
getting the money.
because this girl only got $9,000. You
we
got
have
4
to actually
kids.
bring it to an end. I apologize, but the show is over, and we hope to see you guys joining in with us
Please
next
stay
Sunday.
tuned next
So
Sunday.
for our next topic, so that we can discuss and chit chat with the talk show divas. We thank you very much for watching, and we're out.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't forget to cash app us at $TV1061.
Okay? Cha-ching.
Ching, ching.
Conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.